A good budget will help you keep track of your income and expenses. In this video, I'll show you how to create budgets using Xero's Budget Manager. This is a really easy to use tool. After that, I'll show you how to import budgets into Xero. Importing budgets might sound scary, but don't worry, it's really simple and I'll walk you through it. Then we'll look at how to compare the performance of your business against the budget. Doing this regularly will help you spot potential problems early on so you can take action to fix them. So let's get started. So let's create our first budget. Go to Accounting and Reports. And here's the Budget Manager. Now in Xero you can have as many budgets as you like, so to add new ones just click Add New Budget. For example, you might use tracking to report on different areas of your business, such as different departments or cost centers. It's useful to have budgets for each different department to be able to compare departmental performance against budget. But for now, we're just going to work on an overall budget. Choose when you want the budget to start. So I want my budget to begin in October. I want to show 3 months of actual income and expenses. We can see those in the white columns, October, November, December. Seeing what our actuals are helps me create a better budget. And I want a budget for 12 months. In Xero's Budget Manager, you can have a budget up to 24 months. If you want longer, then you need to import a budget. You can import up to 5 years of budget data. And we'll look at importing later on in this video. For now, we'll select 12 months and update. So we can see our actuals for July, August, September. We'll just enter our budget figures into these blue boxes. So our budgeted sales for October are 15,000. I can simply type into the blue boxes for the remaining months, but that's a bit of a pain. Xero makes it a lot easier with this green arrow. You can apply a fixed amount each month. So each month, the budget sales figure would be 15,000. We can adjust the budget up or down by a set amount each month. Or we can adjust it by a set percentage. So I'd like my budget sales figure to increase by 2% each month. And I happen to know that my December sales are typically a lot higher. So I'll just overtype that figure for December. And notice when I overtype that figure for December, it doesn't affect the remaining months. And let's quickly enter the budget figures for purchases. And again, we'll increase this by 2%. And we'll have a slightly higher figure in December. So you can see it's really easy to use the Budget Manager in Xero. Now I could carry on here and enter all my figures for expenses, but it's going to be even quicker if we do this in a spreadsheet program like Excel or Google Sheets. So let's export this budget to Google Sheets. And we can see we've already got the sales figures and the purchases budget figures already entered. All we need to do now is focus on the expenses. Now before I do anything, I'm going to freeze my rows at the top just so we can see what we're doing a bit easier as we scroll down the page. So I've got a load of months of budgets to enter. Now we're only part way through September at the moment, so the September figure is likely to change. So I'm going to copy August figures because my budgets going forward are going to be similar to August, which was a full month. So let's Control C to copy the August figures, Control V to paste, and I'll copy those figures for the remaining months. So now my budget is looking pretty good. I think there's just one change I'd like to make. I am attending a conference in London in June, so I'll adjust the travel figure for June. Let's find my travel. And let's put 5,000 in there. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with this budget now. I'm going to export this. Now you can export it as an Excel file or a CSV file, doesn't really matter. You can import both into Xero. So here I'll export this as an XLS file. So let's jump back into Xero and we can import that in. So notice we're still on the overall budget. All we've got in the Budget Manager is our sales and purchases at this stage. Let's import that budget. Browse to our file. And import. And confirm. And that's our overall budget entered in the Budget Manager screen. Pretty easy, right? Now, because my business operates in different locations, north, south, east, and west, I'd like to create budgets for each tracking category. So let's add a new budget. Give this a name. So this is a budget for my north region, and we can filter by tracking category option. So I'm going to filter by north region. Let's enter the budget figures. Let's say 2,500. And again, we'll increase that by 2% each month. And I only track my departments I only track sales for each department. I don't bother looking at expenses. So this is really quick. We'll just save that budget. So that's my north budget done. I'd also like to create another budget for my south region. Now Xero lets you copy existing budgets. The only budget you can't copy is the overall budget. Not sure why that is. To copy a budget, click the Edit option. Give this budget a name. Now, if you were doing another overall budget here, you just leave the region to be Do Not Filter. But here we're going to filter it for South, because we're creating a budget for our South region. And be careful here, don't save. If I save, this will overwrite my North budget. I don't want to do that. I want to save as copy. So click that drop down next to save and save as copy. And you can see now I've got 3 budgets in Xero. Really quick, really easy. Now before I start comparing my performance against budget, I need to bring in some historical budget figures because I don't have any budget figures before October. So I'm going to import one final budget. And I've got a budget with 5 years of data. So let me show you that on screen. So here you can see a budget with figures from September 2022 all the way to August 2027. You can see loads of columns on here, a lot of data. Let's import this into Xero. So back on the Budget Manager screen, we're going to add a new budget. I don't want to overwrite any existing budgets here. Now give it a name, so I might just call this 5-year budget so we know what it is. I don't want to filter. And let's import a file. And here's my 5-year budget. This one's a CSV file. And confirm. And great, we've now got 4 budgets in Xero. Let's look now at a couple of ways to use these budgets to track business performance. The easiest way to compare actual against budget is using the Budget Variance report. So choose your date range. Here we'll choose this quarter. Choose which budget you want to compare performance with. We'll leave this to be overall budget and update. The red and green arrows are a really useful visual. Green shows a positive variance, so either your income is more than budget or your expense is less than budget. Red is negative variance, so your income is lower than budget and your expense is higher than budget. So the first 4 columns on the left show the actual against budget with a variance column and a variance percentage column. And then towards the right hand side, you've got the year-to-date figures. And if you want to focus on a particular department or cost center, you can filter this report by tracking category. So click filter. Here we'll filter for the North region. And we'll compare the actual performance of our North region to the North budget and update. And very simply, we've just got our sales because that's all the data that we've got in Xero for the North region. We don't bother tracking anything else for the North region. Another really useful tool for keeping track of your key numbers is the account watch list on the dashboard. Let's head over there. So in the top right, I've got all my key accounts that I want to keep a close eye on. So we can see this month's figures and year-to-date figures. Click the 3 dots and you can show a budget column. So very quickly you can spot any variances and take action if anything looks a little bit strange. Let me know if you found this video useful by giving it a like, and if you've got any questions about using budgets in Xero, let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching.